Page 24, We Three Kings of Orient are. They sound like Yoda talking, I guess. 3/4 time with one sharp, so it's either in G major or E minor, here or here. So let's look at what we got. Well, at the end, we're here. G major. So it sounds like it's in G major. Well, this piece is a little tricky because it starts out in E minor. And then it goes to G major for the refrain. Over on page 25, you look at the last measure, the first line, it has a refrain. The double bars, we talked about this in another video where you have two sections, a verse and a refrain. So the verse is like an E minor, but then the refrain is in G major. It brightens it up a little bit. This is interesting. You got two different keys, but the same key signature is all. I'm going to talk about this one hand at a time. Let's start with the right hand. You're starting out with a little finger on B, puts you in this position. And it's just 1, 2, 3. Did I mention it's in 3/4 time? I can't remember. I don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Don't forget the F sharps. All the F's are sharp. Lift up between the phrases. And then we do it now. You're ending the second line here. When you go to the third line, you got to move. It's between a phrase. Just lift up and move. And then you do that, and then you get over to the top of page 25. Here, cross over, second finger on the F sharp, and then your end of a phrase, end of a section too. Lift up, third finger. And for that fermata, I'm going to hold that 2 counts instead of 1. Normally in this piece, that fermata, you'd hold that longer than that. But for this video, I'm just going to hold it for 2 counts. So it's like 1, 2, 3, hold, and then go on. And lift up. After that O, lift up. This is like a happy part of it. Lift up between the phrases. Now go down to the third line. It's the third measure, you're ending a phrase. Now you're going to lift up and move. It's between phrases, move. And then the last line, lift up between the phrase. That's a 1/4. Like so. Left hand. Starting out with this E minor chord. You have an E, a G, and a B. And then a measure rest, and then an A and a G. You get that some more, that's pretty much it. On page 25, you have to move up here. Now you've had a measure rest, you got plenty of time. So you're here, and then thumb, and then here. All we did is we just accommodated that one note. But I tend to move all the way up because I could stay here and just reach up and cross these fingers over. It's easier for me if I just move up, and then when I'm ready, I stick the thumb under and do it, and move down. That's how I do it. And then lift up. Here, between the sections, we're going to lift both hands. You have to reach up for the C, and then 4/2. Now, you can lift up again with the right hand if you want. You have to experiment, or you can connect it. Whichever you like better, but according to the music, you can lift up okay, because it is phrased for that one measure. It's more like a slur, it's not a phrase, and then lift up to go on. That's okay. See, the slur and the phrase use the same symbol, that curved line. It's just a phrase as a musical sentence, and a slur is just connect the notes. And you can connect the notes in a phrase, but you don't have to. Does that make total sense? So that last measure, the first line on page 25, first line, last measure, have I lost you? Yeah? That's a slur in both hands, so both hands will do that. And then both hands can come up and keep going. So it's a silence before the slur and silence after the slur in this case, yeah. In most cases it is. Other than that, the left hand doesn't get any slurs or phrases or anything, so you connect them unless you have a rest, is what it is. Let's put the two hands together here. At the beginning, you're here. When you play that half note in the second measure, the left hand has to come up. Careful there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now here, you don't have to lift both hands. Only the right hand is phrased. You lift this up, keep the left hand down. Of course, you have to play it again, so you do have to lift up a little. So it's the last measure, the first line is here. Lift up with the right hand. Just lift up the right hand, not the left, because you got to move the right hand. Now the left hand. Then here we'll lift up both hands to separate the slur and lift up both hands again. Make sure you play the rest in the left hand, just the right hand. You don't have to lift up both hands, although you do have to lift up a little because you're playing the same note, but not as much as the right. Just the right hand. Watch out here on the third line on page 25, it's tricky. In the left hand you have here, here, and then I want the second finger again here. There's no phrase or anything for the left hand. So I'm recommending that instead of a second finger, reach down with third finger and connect them. And then 4, 5. Then you can lift up if you want to get 4, 2 on that one. They're suggesting by what they're doing that you lift both hands up at the phrases, and I'm trying to suggest to you that you don't do that necessarily. It's not an automatic thing. So I'm only phrasing the right hand. I want to play the left hand legato, and to do that I can't use second finger on both notes. Can't do that. So I can reach down with the third finger and get it, and then play all the rest. So that's what I'm suggesting you do. So to start that third line again, you're here, then reach down, the rest. This has some tricky parts in it that you'll have to work out because the beat got to keep going. You can't hesitate. It's a slow piece, sort of slow. It's not real. I mean, you can imagine them walking to right, left, right, left. It's not exactly a march in 3/4 time, but you get the idea. It's just plodding along, nice and slow. But we're going to take it really slow. I'd like to play it with you. After you've had time to learn it, then come back and do the play with me. We'll check the notes and the rhythms. And remember, try and play the melody louder than the other stuff. That's what we want to hear. Can you play that soft and this? It takes practice, because doing all the same is yuck. I'll give us 3 counts. So go ahead and put your hands where they go, and here we are. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2.